All right, guys. Welcome to the Conspiracy Corner. I am hearing my own voice. Let me pause that real quick. Okay. So, tonight we're going to be discussing one of the most talked about conspiracies of the past 2 years. September 10th, 2025, 12:23 p.m., Orem, Utah, Utah Valley University. An outdoor courtyard, a tent, a podium. 3,000 people. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, founder of Turning Point USA, one of the most influential conservative organizers in modern American history. He's at the podium answering questions about mass shootings in America. That is the last question he ever answered. Now, across the courtyard, on the roof of the Losey Center building, a 22-year-old man named Tyler Robinson had been lying prone position with a Mauser Model 98 bolt action rifle, his grandfather's gun, since before the event even started. People on the ground saw him up there too. Video captured someone saying out loud before the shot, "There's somebody on the roof right there." Another clip shows a person on camera saying, "He just ran from over there, ran in, now he's right there." Nobody stopped him. At 12:23, Robinson allegedly fired one shot from approximately 200 yards away, and the bullet struck Charlie Kirk in the neck. Footage from inside the campus building shows 3,000 people dropping down to the ground simultaneously. And in the upper corner of the frame, above the crowd, a dark shape rises and begins moving across the roof. Kirk was rushed to the hospital. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. He was 31 years old. His son was 16 months old.
That humanizes a lot because that is what the official record says happened. And in this episode, we're not disputing that Tyler Robinson allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. That's what the court record supports. The text messages support. The evidence presented at the preliminary hearing that just concluded 4 days ago supports it. So we're not here disputing that at all. Here at Conspiracy Corner, more accurately, what we're doing is examining everything surrounding that one shot because a lot happened before it and a lot of stuff happened after it. And some of what happened does not have a satisfying official explanation.
Yes, sir. People saw someone on that roof before the shot was fired. Nobody stopped them. The ground where Kirk fell was replaced with pavement 2 days later. The university blocked public records requests about the events for weeks. A major donor withdrew $2 million from TPUSA 4 days before the assassination, specifically because Kirk had turned against Israel. 10 days after Kirk died, his show was being distributed by a registered Israeli government agent. The woman took over his organization, fired 60 people within weeks, and reversed the direction Kirk had been moving in the final months of his life. And Candace Owens, not a random social media account, but a prominent conservative commentator with direct access to TPUSA, said publicly that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of his own organization and some people who utilized him on stage at his memorial.
Well, let's be clear. As Candace Owens, not a random social media account, but a prominent conservative commentator who has direct access to TPUSA, is describing the woman as not the wife/widow of Charlie Kirk, who took over said organization and fired said 60 people within weeks and reversed said direction that Kirk has been moving in his final months of his life. And that is what Conspiracy Corner is here to talk about. We are not telling you what to believe. We are presenting what is documented and asking you to ask the question that the official record leaves open to ask.
One more thing before we get into all this. 14 months before Charlie Kirk was killed at Utah Valley University, a young man named Thomas Crooks climbed on a roof of a building at a political event in Butler, Pennsylvania, and fired a rifle at a man on a stage standing at a podium, happening to be the president. The bipartisan House task force that investigated that shooting called what happened a, quote, colossal failure of planning and communication. Local law enforcement had spotted Crooks on the roof before he fired. Again, local police sniper had him in his sights. The shot happened anyways. Now, we're going to come back to Butler, but we're starting with Kirk because Kirk is where this episode lives. So let's pull up and let's talk about it in the conspiracy corner. Let's get it.
United States. They understand that even better than I did. Because after Charlie Kirk was shot, I honestly didn't even know that much about him. I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. But I still did a stand-up routine because that's what I do. I would do it to any of you. Don't take it personally. I posted it on YouTube and YouTube took it down instantly. That's never happened to me in the history of my whole career. And you've seen some of the things I talk about. That's how many people flagged it saying no, they were upset, they were very sensitive about it. I didn't know you can't make jokes the same day. All right, that was stuff on my part. I should have at least waited for the cement to dry.
Hey guys, we're here, and it's time for the conspiracy corner.
Was that wasn't the whole joke you showed me?
That was not the whole joke. You want to see the whole thing?
Yes.
You want to see the whole thing? Oh, yes. Guys, listen, because we might get straight from YouTube too for this. Let's be real. So we gonna jump out the window. Let's jump out the window for y'all.
If we get strike, then we get strike first.
Listen,
at least we know it's the first thing we know.
Y'all want to see the whole joke? Better hit the like button. We need at least 10 likes, 10 subscribers.
No, we need to subscribe. No, we need 11 to hit 100.
11, yeah, we need 11 subscribers to get 100, guys. Right around the corner from. But you know what? As a favor, y'all, cousin love you, we're gonna take the hit. Let's play the full joke.
Iran made a video about Charlie Kirk. I didn't even know that was in their wheelhouse. It was literally a video. You have this Iranian general just sitting in a chair with his face blurred. He's speaking in English, which means it's to me, okay? But he has an Iranian accent. I know it's an Iranian accent because I lived in LA for 10 years. He's like, let me tell you about a Charlie Kirk. I'm like, what do you got for me, General? And he's like, did you know Charlie Kirk was killed by your government? I was like, yes, I did know that. I did actually. He's like, well, while we were hacking Cash Patel for funsies, we got into your FBI's mainframe, no big deal. Apparently the password's Valhalla123. And we found documents that revealed that your government plotted the murder of Charlie Kirk, and it didn't go according to plan. What? Our government botched an assassination attempt? We would never. He says, well, did you know Charlie Kirk was not killed by a bullet. He was killed by an explosive device planted into his microphone that was clipped to his shirt. I know. Mind blown. Better choice of words? Sure. I'm sure a lot of people are asking, what? Who could even plant an explosive device in a small piece of technology and detonate it remotely? Who would do that? But it's a thing, and it is real. 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 And it's Israel. They did it with pagers in Lebanon. By the way, where did we get this? Trevor? Best Buy? What is it? Tel Aviv Tech? Okay. He said the device was supposed to explode downward into Charlie's chest cavity to make it seem like a clean gunshot wound to the chest. So we would all be like, oh my God, he was shot. And they'd thumbs up the fake Tyler on the roof. Be like, good job, buddy. We'll see you in Valhalla. But it didn't go according to plan because the device misfired. Like, where have I heard that before? And a piece of shrapnel shot through Charlie's neck and it came out the place that we were supposed to see the bullet going in. Now, this was the part that he said that blew... Okay. This was the part, he said, that really opened my eyes. He said, because it misfired and because it exploded in all sorts of which ways, a bunch of pieces of shrapnel flew everywhere, and a lot of them went down and lodged themselves deep into the concrete where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And this is why, the next day, a bunch of people came to repave the entire area. So Charlie Kirk is shot, and the next morning, a bunch of random guys from God knows where in Israel come and start repaving the entire asphalt. It's like you could have chose a better time to do that. This is literally the weirdest, most eerie part of the Charlie Kirk case, aside from Erica. It is the second strangest part about the case. Like if you were watching a crime drama like CSI Orem and somebody gets shot and then like moments later like, oh, nothing to see here, we're just repaving the whole area. That would be like a 10-part series where they're trying to figure out like who the are these contractors? And so then the Iranian general was like, and this is how you know that it was your government who killed Charlie Kirk. like and subscribe to my page. Hit the bell. I was like, do you have Lego content? The Iranian intelligence, they understand the American mind because they know that Charlie Kirk is a very sensitive issue in the United States. They understand that even better than I did. Because after Charlie Kirk was shot, I honestly didn't even know that much about him. I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. But I still did a stand-up routine because that's what I do. I would do it to any of you. Don't take it personally. I posted it on YouTube and YouTube took it down instantly. That's never happened to me in the history of my whole career. And you've seen some of the things I talk about. That's how many people flagged it saying no, they were upset, they were very sensitive about it. I didn't know you can't make jokes the same day. All right, that was stuff on my part. I should have at least waited for the cement to dry.
Hey, listen, man.
Thank
you
you.
go.
Now, what I will do to ease you off, pause, to ease the channel and to let you know, I will give a disclaimer right here. What we're doing before we get into anything else tonight.
First, shout out to Sammy OB, the upcoming comedian. If y'all want to look him up, Sammy OB. I think that's how you spell it. If I pronounce it.
Yeah, and yeah, if any smoke, go to him. Any smoke, go to him. But to be honest, what we need to tell you before we get into this episode is that we're not here to spread any type of anti-Semitism. We're not here blaming Mossad. We're not here blaming Jewish donors. We're not here blaming Israel. That's not what we're doing. Okay, these theories are being pushed by people that is not in our demographic. That's not what we're doing. And it is rooted in the conspiracy framework that we try to stay away from because we don't want that to be used to justify violence. So before we go, but we will speak on the things that are factual that will bring up the conspiracy of, well, why is that? Well, why would they? Well, who did what? So again, I just want to, because to Sammy's part of the joke, bro, I honestly still to this day, I don't know what the fuck Charlie Kirk is. I don't know who this nigga is. I don't know what that nigga that got famous for, but niggas really get famous off of like really, doing nothing. But from what I understand, this nigga Charlie Kirk was putting in pain. Yeah. Like from what I understand, Charlie Kirk, is a little engine that could. Damn near, like he's an American story, my guy.
I think that especially with the polarization since Trump, took office in 2016, it gave space for a rise of like extreme right-wing media and normalization of just from the guys of just we're just keeping it real, normalization of very, very much propaganda and hateful rhetoric that is not to solve problems but to demonize a certain group of people. So like, for instance, like he had a whole comments about if he sees a black pilot, he's gonna be like, he hope he's qualified. He said things about a lot about the black community that I don't appreciate. A lot of people were like saying that, oh well, he's just trying to have conversation, and it's always very controversial. So hey, freedom of speech. I don't think anybody should get killed or assassinated for them speaking on what they believe, regardless of how hateful to me I may seem to be. But when it comes to be like a debate on who did it, after so long, we still don't have the answers. It gets really kind of crazy.
Well, allegedly we do know who did it. Tyler Robertson allegedly is. Now the thing is, what we don't know, the conspiracy is the motivation behind it.
But there's a lot of things, motivation behind it we don't know. Tyler Robinson is alleged to have done it, but there's a lot of smokiness around this, and we're going to get into all of it today. But for us to get into it, we got to know who Charlie Kirk is, like you're saying, and you're getting introduced to him as well. Me too. Like I wasn't even me being in politically conscious to a degree, I wasn't watching Charlie Kirk content or nothing like that. I didn't get why it meant so much that he got, assassinated and people were crying and all this stuff. You got Officer Tatum crying on camera and shit. Like, I didn't get it. And to be honest with you, I still don't get it to some degree. So but I do understand that the cloudiness around his death has caused a lot of friction, in the right wing media space. And I was like, let me look into this. Let me see if there's any, you know, legs to this thing. So today on Conspiracy Corner, we just want to dive into it and just read through the facts, read through the conspiracy theories, and y'all leave your comments and questions in the comment section on what y'all believe, because I don't have the answers even after going through all this research.
So, first and foremost, I wanted, again, like I said, just try to give somewhat of the backstory of what I know, and again, the research of what I know for Charlie Kirk to be. One of the major threads that I'm going to harp on is the machine that he built. Turning Point USA, for what people don't know what that is, it's a political arm, essentially, like it's a political media arm, I should say, in a way, but it's framed as a nonprofit organization that advocates for conservative for conservative politics on high school, college, and university campuses. So what it was trying to do was shape the minds of young, essentially also white Americans. That was that is, yeah, exactly what it was founded on. And unfortunately, we hate to do the black and white thing, but when Kirk gave a speech at a Catholic university, youth on a youth government day, where he met Bill Montgomery. Bill Montgomery is the co-founder of Turning Point USA, and William Montgomery is an American businessman, and he's a conservative political activist. They met and was then backed by the Tea Party, right? Okay. The Tea Party movement, which was, again, American white ring frisk, so there seemed to be a lot of tentacles of America trying to take back their people, right? And their people was young white American males who were then active in the patriarchy, who would then lead the great American family to prominence, because you got your great white male, you got your great white female, then you got your great white kids. It's like they just trying to establish American heritage at the starting point, because Turning USA clearly was gathering children at high school, gathering young adults on college campuses.
Hello. You're muted. I'm not sure what happened. I think your mic went out. But you're...
I don't see that I'm muted.
Now you're good. Now you weren't muted, but your mic went out. Now it's good.
Oh, but, okay.
Your Discord was not peaking, so but now you're good. Yeah.
Okay. So to the thing about,
you said Bill Montgomery.
Yeah, Bill Montgomery. He. So this is the thing. In 2012, Charlie Kirk was, I think it was 18, 19.
Yeah. He was 18 years old, attending Harper College, a community college in suburban Chicago. When he decided to start an organization, he was not a visionary entrepreneur who bootstrapped something from nothing. He was a teenager with a political instinct and no money, who was identified, cultivated, and funded by two people who were not him. So you got Bill Montgomery. He was a tired businessman in his early 70s and a Tea Party activist who had been involved in conservative organizing for decades. Charlie met him through early speaking engagements while in high school. So that's crazy. So he's been kind of groomed as well. So Montgomery kind of groomed him to be like the reincarnation of what he's trying to push. and then he continues to now groom the high school and college people. So Montgomery did not encourage Kirk to drop out of college and start TPUSA. He co-founded the organization with him. His name is on the founding documents. So without Montgomery, his experience, his credibility, his connection in his conservative circles, and his willingness to mentor the 18-year-old TPUSA then does not exist. Every profile of Kirk mentions him as a co-founder in passing, then immediately moves on to um, onto the Kirk narrative. That is not an accident. Okay, so
And from what I understand, the first seedings was $10,000, if I'm not mistaken. Like the first, it was $10,000 from his very first donor. The idea of what it should be, but again, I don't think Charlie Kirk had this idea. Like for like the more that we're unpeeling the layers, how could Charlie Kirk be so impacted by life prior to him graduating high school that he needs to politically be charged?
I think that I think the Tea Party had some young movement in it. Don't get me wrong. There was frustration in white America, young white men, after the Obama administration and certain things that happened, especially when it comes to, the bailouts and all that stuff. Um, but I do believe that you need some older men and gentlemen to see that energy and then harness it, you know. And I think that when you talk about the Bill Montgomery, he saw that and he harnessed it and he tried to cultivate him into what he wanted. And then you got Foster Freeze, who's another older man. He's a billionaire hedge fund investor and one of the Republican Party's biggest mega donors. Kirk met him at the 2012 Republican National Convention in Tampa. So he gets involved now. He's meeting people, rubbing shoulders, and not because Kirk was an official delegate while he was there, but because he had gone there specifically to network. He went there to network specifically. So the story became a legend that TPUSA circles is that Charlie Kirk spotted Freeze in the convention center stairwell. He walked up to him and delivered an elevator pitch in 60 seconds. 18 years old, dropped out of college, starting an organization and needs startup capital. Freeze then just gives him the money, just like that, So it seems like they were allied on certain vision, and then from there, he's on to the races.
That's. I ain't trying to hold you, bro. Niggas don't become billionaires because they get a 60-second elevator pitch and be like, yeah,
I know.
I'm not necessarily really trying to. Me personally, that's some wolf tickets I came by.
So the part that the legend leaves out is that Freese was not a random wealthy man who just happened to be in a stairwell. He was one of the most active funders of conservative causes in the entire country. He had previously given 1.7 million to a super PAC supporting Rick Santorum's presidential campaign. He had relationships with virtually every significant conservative organization in America. Kirk did not find a stranger in a stairwell. He found the exact right person to approach at the exact right time at the right event because he had been studying the donor class meticulously. And he arrived at the RNC specifically to do what he did. So he targeted Montgomery. Montgomery no, he targeted Freese, and Montgomery taught him to do this. He taught him how to navigate these waters. So yeah, it wasn't just like by happenstance, and with the backing of Montgomery, and the credibility, this 18-year-old kid, or I'm not sure how old he was at 2012, but it might. I'll look into that, but it seemed by the end of the conversation, Freese was enamored by the young cat, and got behind it. So by the end of 2012. The money from Freese was almost gone, though. TPUSA had less than $1,000 in his bank account. Kirk considered shutting the whole thing down, and Montgomery talked him out of quitting. They went to New York to appear on television and court some more donors. The organization survived because Montgomery essentially would not let it die. So it was just this guy Montgomery. Bill Montgomery, this is like his baby. This is his like manifesto, to say the least, and he wouldn't let Kirk give it up. So just to give it like a roundabout of who this guy is, where he comes from, and what they're about. It's a conservative think tank. that was intentionally, created to, you know, mold the young Americans, specifically conservative white America. I believe, and obviously you got some people that will come into that,
Well,
box
but
that are not.
this fits right into a previous thread that we previously speak about, and it's the Powell Memo. And this is a bounce off of our receipts room, bleeding into the conspiracy corner. But we then now have that thread to then now say, are they following a memorandum? Right, is this all part of a legitimate? Because for people who don't know,
And you say, did you say the Powell Memo?
yeah, the Powell Memo.
Because there's a connection between that. Like when I asked, like, who's Charlie Kirk, where did he come from, and how did he start TPUSA? It says there's a Powell Memo connection here, So
Yes,
absolutely.
This
as a conspiracy corner, we have to dive into this and just kind of question this, because there's a through line that leads directly to what the Powell Memo was. And if you haven't watched our Powell Memo conversation, the Powell Memo is a conservative memo by a conservative attorney. Was it an attorney general?
He was Supreme Court.
Supreme Court. Okay, he was a lawyer first, and then he became at Supreme Court. It was a memo to, pretty much how to, over time, build America in favor of corporations and
A conservative infrastructure for that.
conservative
It was
infrastructure.
a conservative. It was a conservative infrastructure to frame exactly, and to your point, and to this specific point, in the Powell Memo, it specifically talked about gaining leverage in the universities.
Exactly, it did, and it said controlling the media, controlling how you get the newspapers, the media online, not online but TV, books, and how to then change the culture of America through a conservative facet. And it was heavily in favor of corporations, heavily in favor of conservatism. So this says here that the through line is that, going back to the Powell Memo of 1971, Lewis Powell wrote to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and said that corporations needed to systematically invest in universities, like you said, think tanks, media, political process to counter what he saw as a growing anti-business, anti-conservative sentiment in American culture. He specifically identified campus culture as a battleground, and he called for organized, sustained corporate investment in reshaping it. So it was an active movement to put money in these campuses, right, and reshape it. From 1971 to 2012, this is 41 years. So 41 years, the conservative movement built an infrastructure the Powell Memo essentially described. The Heritage Foundation, Cato Institute, American Enterprise Institute, the network of donor and organizations that funded them, the campus organizations that preceded TPUSA, Young Americans of Freedom, Young Americans for Liberty, Students for a Free Society, the donor relationship, the speaker pipelines, the media connections, the funding mechanisms. All of it is built over 4 decades by exactly what people in the Powell Memo described. So when Charlie Kirk walked into that convention center in 2012 and pitched the Foster Freeze, he was not a self-made man pitching, cold call to a stranger. He's honestly talking to the right people with the right keywords and buzzwords. Because I think there's a coded language. Let's put it this way: when you're in these circles, we know there's a coded language that knows that you're either in. With one of us, you're in or you're out. And if a young cat comes and says the right keywords that speaks to this Powell Memo that's been passed down essentially for decades. Now, the guy's like, let's fund this. Let's put money behind that.
What if Charlie Kirk knew about this Powell Memo? Was like, I know how to generate millions of dollars, because
I'm sure he did.
But because this is the big thing for me, like
TPUSA is literally like exactly what that Powell Memo was preaching about. Yeah,
nigga, what that nigga Soldier Boy say? Bar for bar, word for word. Nigga,
So yeah, I think that you're right on with that. I think that he studied, and I think it goes to his Montgomery, friend. He's gave him the
Oh yeah,
playbook.
but yeah, William Montgomery. This nigga, he
This
been
nigga
waiting for
lived
the
through it. He lived
yeah.
through the Powell Memo. Like he knows exactly what it is. He saw a young, frustrated white boy, and he latched on. He's like, "You're gonna be the one to carry out my vision."
You're the Great White Hope, my guy. You Cooper Flag, the Cooper Flag of
White conservatism. Oh man.
Oh man.
So essentially, he did not build TPUSA. He was the face of TPUSA that they needed. But Montgomery built it and mentored him. Foster Freeze funded it and kept it alive. The Bradley Foundation and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Uline money, and then the Marcus money scaled it. So for 40 years of conservative infrastructure investment made the whole ecosystem ready to receive exactly the thing Charlie Kirk represented: a young, aggressive, charismatic white kid willing to say the quiet parts out loud and a college campus while older donors watched him from a safe distance. The college dropout story is the brand, the money, the organization. They are not the same thing, you know. So they, he could say he's a college dropout like he's a genius, but to that money and the organization part that Bill Montgomery gave him is the sauce that made this work. Because even when they went down to $1,000, he's like, "No, we're still going." He knows how to get the money. He was very confident. No, we lost that money. We can get more money. And as I mentioned, they used the Uline money, Marcus money, and they scaled from there. So they went to Fox News, Breitbart, all these conservative places that started talking their shit, and they got a conservative base where you say the right things, they're willing to throw their money out. They're empty their pockets for you. Honestly, it's one of the most easiest ways I think for white Americans to make money is to dive into the conservative pipeline because there's so much money involved in it. Even that's why
Well,
you
we
see a
see
lot of
that we see that a lot of
Black
black people.
American. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. We see that with a lot of
You don't get as much, but
yeah.
you don't get a bag too. Officer Tatum, the Cartier family, these black people that
Candace Owens, Stephen A.
Candace
Smith.
Owens, yeah, Stephen A. Smith. You're going to find a lane, and they're willing to give you a little bit of money to spout their talking points, and fight for what their cause is. Because I think that conservatism in America I think it has more majority of the money available in this country,
Oh,
way more
absolutely.
than the
And
liberal side. And
you got to think about the talking points that they push about the nuclear family and having a mother and a father and raising the kids to get like that's what that is the who can literally argue that
exactly.
as a shield that you put out in front of you, like who can be like, I don't want fathers in the home with their kids. Like, yeah, man, I can. Yeah, them conservative niggas not so bad, then you really have to get past the perfume to smell the stank. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
them niggas really stank, bro.
All right, so you want to move on to the shooting, or do you want to continue with who this guy is?
Let me just wrap. I just want to just wrap this up and let everybody understand again who Charlie Kirk is.
Okay.
He's an 18-year-old kid at the beginning of this. By the time he's passing, yes.
I just think it's a little bit sad, and I know Charlie Kirk wasn't liked by everybody. I just think it's a little bit sad that he was an 18-year-old kid and he passed at 31, and he was preyed upon to become this person that was hated. You know what I mean? And now he's not there for his kids.
Not if you again, not if we're putting a conspiracy on that he trained himself for this. I won't, because listen, if we're trying to
This is
connect
a very impressionable time. 18, bro.
Well, we
you
can.
think you
If
know
I just
everything, and you give a guy 18-year-old money for doing a certain thing and talking a certain way, and then you say, "Look, you're gonna be you big his head up. You're gonna be the person, the hope for it," and then you set him up for this. And I don't want to get into conspiracy stuff yet, but it's sad to me. In some levels.
you set him up for what? You like the nigga
to get killed at 31.
That's not the conspiracy that he got set up. That's not the conspiracy that they set him up. That's not the conspiracy because at the time of what we're talking about, Bill Montgomery and Foster Freeze, they see themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that they don't see somebody that they see someone that's 80 years old carrying out the plan. Because again, the beginning of of Mr. Powell, the nigga sitting in the Supreme Court, nigga, that's a lifetime job, nigga.
Yeah.
So when you have the framework and the ideology, and they're like, yes, you're the one, like you're the chosen one. I think the conspiracy, again, as I gave the disclaimer before, once we do, it's a 10-year gap of things changing, because I know where you're about to go as far as like, it's a person at 30, because the humanity of it all is that a 31-year-old man got assassinated. I do think
I get it.
That,
people say fuck around, find out, but I'm looking at it.
No, but that think tank changed over time. Again, that think tank grew from $10,000 seed to a $400 million company. Like, that's some real chicken. Like, that's some real financial influence.
Of course. I'm just saying, I'm just putting in my mindset of, if he wasn't found by Montgomery, would he still be alive today? And maybe not being the person he was.
Did he seek out Montgomery though? That's where we talk about the prey apart portion of it. Like, because if he's going to conventions like we're reading, and he's seeking out people,
it says that Montgomery found him, and that Montgomery then told him how to play the book in these conventions. But hey, I didn't live the life of Charlie Kirk. Maybe you could be right. Maybe he's the one, the mastermind all along. But even when they lost the money, we're still pushing forward, and we're gonna get more money. And like, he saw himself in, like you said, to me, 18-year-old, that's a little bit of grooming, but in a conservative mind space. No,
I completely follow you down the path that the young man was groomed, but at the same time, like in these spaces, again, when we're talking about, if someone, okay, in a sports analogy, right? If someone sees a prodigy, right, physical ability, looks at it, and the only thing that person probably needs is someone that can guide him where he needs to go.
Yeah.
And he wants to quit after a practice, or he quits after a championship game, and it's not. And that man's like, "No, man, you special, bro. Like, yo, you going D1. Like, you about to change the like." That is a form of grooming as well, but to the betterment of, like, you came to me to get over the hump a little bit, so I'm not going to let you fail, essentially. And the only reason why I think I'm going there to then pivot into the shooting is because, again, right now we're speaking about these men. Foster Freeze is still alive. No, I'm sorry, he died in 2021. I'm sorry. That's not Foster Freeze. Bill Montgomery is still alive.
Okay.
He's 80. You know what I'm saying? So, like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, still alive. Bro, he's still alive, bro. He's still alive. And I know this nigga like, damn, my only chance of fulfilling the prophecy is.
I mean, I'm sure he's still doing it. Like, the way he was staunch, and even when they didn't have money, he probably the same thing. He probably like, no, got somebody else.
But that's 10 years ago.
He took TPUSA where he needed it to go, and now he's gonna find somebody else to keep going. That's how I look at it. But we'll see.
Well, I don't know. I mean, right now is he's a founder. I'm not sure if he's still involved right now, right? Because from the unfortunate, circumstances of Charlie Kirk.
That's a good question.
Right? The person I believe that's in charge is Erica from what I
Okay,
from
we'll
all
get to
into.
Erica in a moment.
Yeah, we'll get into goddamn Beth
But before we
Phoenix.
before we get into the rest of this, do you have any more about Charlie before we get into? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Under Beth Phoenix. No, I mean, well, the real again, the money again tells you that this was a political machine. So I do not want, as we're going to get into the shooting of Charlie Kirk, we're going to get into the conspiracy of how he died. Is it this? Is it that? Who did it? Why they did it? Again, the main thread that I want to harp on, I believe, is which is
Bill Montgomery's dead.
Wait, when he died?
COVID. 2020. Oh man, he died at 80. Yeah. I'm sorry, man, guys.
Hey, okay, so all them niggas is gone.
Okay, that goes to say, like, TPUSA is gonna be whatever they want it to be now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the people who were even, I don't mean to laugh about it. Rest in peace, guys. But God, that's just, I'm not laughing at them passing. I'm laughing at the way we found out.
Well, I mean, because if you think about it, Turning Point USA, from the quick time that he has passed, does it speak so much of conservatism as it used to? I'm not.
I think it still does. From what things I'm seeing,
okay,
they're still on some bullshit. They're still very conservative, and they still very much are thinking they are trying to make. I know. I saw. It's not. First of all, TPUSA doesn't got the same they used to. Put it that way. It's like, it's mid. People are like, yeah, I'm not fucking with these guys like I used to. It's not hitting the same way.
Yeah, bro. It was a young white male leading.
Now they're bringing Nicki Minaj. They're working with Nicki Minaj is on stage with them now, and some people don't like that. Like, some people are like, is this what it is now? Like, we're getting Nicki Minaj coming here, all these celebrities, and they don't like the Indian guy who was working with them. Like it's becoming more like infighting.
It's become a little DEI, nigga. The fuck you mean? It was a white man leading a white man's thinking, and it was supposed to then
Candace worked
galvanize. Excuse me.
Candace worked with them heavy.
Yeah, but Candace also want to be a white man.
That's true. Fair point. Fair point. Mind you, level your head out because when I get these clips, I don't want your beard to be cut off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have anything from Candace, or we got something for Candace after we get to Charlie passing away? Because that's when she lost her damn mind. That bitch was acting like Ghost. Tasha, I lost the love of my life. Would you have some respect?
That's crazy. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up the podcast wars video.
Yeah. Candace always was distraught. It was
apparently that was her best friend,
Yeah, because they used to text each other about, oh my God, Nicki Minaj raps so good.
Actually, Candace hated Nicki Minaj. That's documented.
Oh man!
All right, so you done with the intro?
Yes, brother.
All right. So let's get into the shooting. Let's get into, hey, was it a botched staging of this, or was it an actual assassination that we take it for face value that Tyler Robinson committed this assassination? So, if you accept as a conspiracy corner hypothetical that Butler shooting was staged or particularly staged for political benefit, then the most interesting question about Charlie Kirk's assassination is whether someone tried to do it, again. Kirk had become extraordinarily political, valuable the summer of 2025. His organization had 2,000 campus leaders or campus chapters. That's crazy. 2,000 campus chapters. He had just concluded a successful American Fest conference. He was the primary infrastructure for young conservative organizing in America. A staged assassination attempt on Kirk, with Kirk surviving as Trump had survived, creating a staged assassination attempt on Kirk, with the surviving Kirk as Trump had survived, creating martyrdom moment and a sympathy surge, would have been an enormous fundraising and organizational gift to TPUSA and the broader conservative movement heading into 2026 midterms. So that's like what people would say as a conspiracy. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying as a conspiracy. So the conspiracy theory being discussed in some corners of the internet is that Kirk's assassination was planned as a staged near miss, like Trump, the same way the Butler situation happened, allegedly. And Tyler Robinson was either not part of the staging or deviated from whatever the plan was and actually shot to kill. So if the theory is correct, then Kirk's death was not the plan. All right, it was a mistake. It was staging that essentially could have went wrong. So what are your thoughts on that? And then we get into the documentation.
I mean, again, I'm a Marine, so our thing is one shot, one kill. From my understanding, I don't think Tyler Robertson was a Marine, so I'm not really assuming he can get a shot off on purpose on target. And if his target was supposed to be the chest and he missed the target, I mean, I don't. My thing is, my thing is, okay.
So
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
They're talking about maybe this was a stage and a near miss, and it accidentally killed him. If that's the case, then Tyler Robinson would have been involved in this, or he was involved in it and went off plan and did it anyways, and he hit him. So I'm not saying this is what happened, but that's what people are saying online, possibly. Now the UVU event, it was booked late. So the conspiracy theory that circulated on social media claimed that the UVU campus stopped on the American Comeback Tour was only approved in July, just 2 months before the September event, which is typically not how they do things. So TPUSA disputed this, and Ali Beth Stuckey explained that Kirk texted her late in August about a campus events planned in November, suggesting booking timelines for 2 months were normal. So Tyler Bowyer of TPUSA specifically went on record to refute this theory, but the claim circulated widely enough that TPUSA officials felt the need to publicly address it. So they're saying, no, it's normal to have 2 months out, schedule it. People reportedly saw Robinson on the roof before he shot. Video apparently showing a figure in prone position on the roof was circulated before the shooting. Students said out loud, "There's somebody on the roof." It was captured on video. All this was before the shot was fired. So all that plays into, hey, is there something going on? Was this staged? So nobody stopped him, and this is similar to the Butler situation with Trump. Nobody stopped it. People saw it, and no one said, "Hey, let's go check on that." No security, no police officer, no law enforcement went and checked on it. Robinson engraved bullets. So Robinson had engraved bullets, and called the engravings mostly a big meme. Mostly a big meme. What does a person planning a political assassination describe as a meme? What is on those bullets? We don't have the bullets. We don't know. But the specific content has never been publicly disclosed. So apparently there were something engraved on the bullets, and it just has not been released. Another question.
The casing said, "Hey, fascist, catch," is what bullet cases inscribed for some reason.
We haven't been able to see evidence of that. That's what the CIA told us.
I mean, The CIA
Okay.
is a government agency, so I mean,
We've been talking about the CIA. You trust the CIA? Yeah.
I mean, I don't trust the CIA, but that's the only confirmed legal alleged
The
confirmation of
CIA also told
evidence.
us that he was a transgender sympathist, but all his stuff online was that he's a 4chan, right wing guy who supported Trump, was very conservative, and they try to make it seem like, oh, let's bring the trans people. So it was very, very much a conflicting,
Absolutely.
stories when it came out. So and then so Robinson has apparently told his roommate that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk. The phrase the phrase "had the opportunity" is interesting linguistic territory. It implies that he was in a position where the opportunity presented itself, not necessarily that he created the opportunity himself from scratch. This is not evidence of staging, but it's an interesting word choice that the theory points to. Now, the pavement, which is probably the most documented anomaly of this entire thing. 2 days after the assassination, not 2 weeks. And I know in the comedies he said the day after. It's 2 days, not 2 weeks, just 2 days after the assassination. UVU crews were photographed and filmed installing pavers and removing grass at the location where Kirk was shot. Wire service photographers captured workers on the ground. This documented with photographs from multiple news sources. This is documented. The official explanation is that grounds restoration. So after a traumatic event involving thousands of attendees, and university needed to restore the campus space for safety, public access, and liability reasons. The conspiracy theory says that the pavement replaced was ground level evidence before the investigation was complete. Here's what makes this genuinely crazy, because UVU simultaneously blocked public records requesting information about the event. So Fox 13 in Utah submitted public records request for the event application. TPUSA submitted, right? And then the security preparations for the event, they wanted security preparations for the event, and they wanted specific security measures that they had taken. UVU neither granted nor denied those requests for weeks, and citing extraordinary circumstances as the reason, and high volume of requests. Under Utah law, they were required to respond within 10 business days. So the university replaced the physical ground at the scene 2 days after assassination, while simultaneously blocking public records requests about the event and security preparations. So both of these things are individually explainable, but together they are kind of a combination that feeds conspiracies. And I think that I can't say that that's plausible, but it is odd that 2 days after they're paving the scene.
I mean, that's not odd, nigga. That's criminal, nigga. Like, that's a crime scene, cause you know what I mean. Like, if evidence isn't collected from, and again, I didn't even finish my course in criminal justice at community college, so please don't let me get the line like I know what I'm talking about. But I do know, nigga, the gas station murders be having tape up on that motherfucker for more than 2 days, because niggas can't get gas at that gas station after that shooting, nigga, because that's evidence. So what I'm trying to say is, nigga, they should rope off that little goddamn platform where he was standing and figure out, because again, one of the biggest things that we're talking about is this magical bullet. Like, this is a one shot, one kill bullet that supposedly was supposed to exit it where it entered. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't like this shit.
Right.
It sound weird, man. What you got for me?
So it sounds weird, you're right. So now let's dive into the Black Queen, Candace Owens, and the woman who, has been kind of leading the forefront
I
of
gotta,
this conspiracy theory.
and my,
Hmm?
I'm sorry, just one last thing. The thing that is again, as not the biggest gun guy either, but if my man Robinson used his grandfather's Moser's like bolt rifle action, is not modern enough to shoot 200 yards. Now, approximately, I think
will
Charlie
research that. Type it in, research it. I don't know if it could shoot something like that, but it's a rifle. I mean, it's not a sniper rifle, but it's a rifle.
I mean, it says if you're planning, if you were planning a guaranteed kill at 200 yards, you would use a different gun. That's what I found when I typed it in.
Ooh.
If you were planning a near miss at 200 yards, something that looked close without being fatal, then a bolt action rifle with a single shot is exactly what you will use, because there will be no opportunity for a second round if the first one landed wrong. So again, like, you know,
is it one of those ones you gotta yeah, okay. Okay. It's not a musket or something. Okay.
I mean, damn near, my nigga. It's a single shot, motherfucker. Like, it don't got no. You put the one joint in there, rack it, push it forward, and that's all you got.
Okay.
So, you know, if we're talking about a staging, if we're talking about a near miss that went wrong, if we're talking about somebody that went rogue, you have a perfect gumbo of plausibility if you were someone trying to get somebody out the way so the company can go elsewhere where he wasn't trying to take it.
Okay. That's honestly a good point, because I don't know guns enough to tell you, but I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah. So Candace Owens, she went further than pretty much anyone publicly about this.
Yeah. Let's see what my girl said.
There was a trap door. She came to a lot of things. So let's go ahead and check her out real quick.
Bro, her rabbit must have broke, nigga. She can't get a nut off to save her life. That bitch is bent up. She'll know what to think.
All right, check this out.
Take her out and blame it on Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson as a reason to censor them, because they just exposed the truth about who killed Charlie Kirk and how it was done. Candace and her detectives started to look into this theory about Charlie's exploding mic, and everyone started freaking out all of a sudden. So I think we're onto something, and we're finally starting to get a good picture of the scene that went down that day. You know, Charlie was rigged with an explosive mic that also electrocuted him, and I think he was shot from the back and below. Then I also heard someone broke his neck too. They really wanted to make sure this guy died. They threw the kitchen sink at him, apparently. And it wasn't easy taking him out, because if you remember, he had X-Men superpowers, according to Candace, and was described as a man of steel by his surgeon. So they needed multiple options. I don't think a gunshot wound to the neck would have gotten the job done. Like, one of Candace's orbiters described where Charlie was speaking as a death arena, and they went after him 5 different ways, then snapped his neck in the car for good measure. And I think that scenario sounds like the most accurate to me. So it's all starting to add up here. Charlie was shot from every different angle. His mic exploded and electrocuted him at the same time. And then when nobody was looking, somebody made sure to snap his neck. So thankfully we have Candace and her sycophants figuring all this out, because if it weren't for her, we would have thought Charlie died from just being shot in the neck, which sounds completely ridiculous in hindsight.
This narrative, which makes a lot more sense than Tyler Robinson, that Charlie's microphone may have been rigged to kill him using explosives.
His hands, the way they grip the microphone, looks to me like he got electrocuted.
Actually, Charlie was shot from beneath him. Everyone's looking up when we should be looking below. Charlie was shot from the back. 100% Charlie Kirk was shot from the front. There is now more evidence, more evidentiary support that Charlie may have been killed by a rigged explosive device that was on him.
They brought Charlie into that what looks like a death arena and said, we're going to go after him 4 or 5 different ways, and then we're going to break his neck in the car. And he's not walking out of this alive.
Yeah, so they're figuring it all out, and just wait till they discover the cyanide tablet they put in Charlie's coffee. Once that gets out there, it's all over. So the elites are probably already planning a false flag attack on Erica, and I think that's why she's crying all the time. She knows she's next. She knows way too much and can expose the Epstein files in Israel. Like, according to Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson claimed that Erica was very anti-Israel before Charlie was killed. Candace mentioned this the other day, and she kept apologizing to Tucker for bringing up this story because Tucker tries his best to play both sides. Like, he'll talk about how much he loves Erica and how great she is, but then he'll push theories about Charlie's assassination and have on people that trash Erica. But now it looks like Candace wants him to pick a side because she also said she doesn't understand how Tucker can like Erica. So she brought this story up about how when she did Tucker's podcast about a year ago, afterwards he told her and her husband that Erica...
Listen, that's enough. I'm going to find better video, but that's funny as hell. I got to say, she's been all over the place. So when you talk about this conspiracy stuff, pick a story, you know, and I think that at least for me, when it comes to this Charlie Kirk thing, I don't know what happened, but I cannot come on here on this podcast and tell you that this is what happened today, this is what happened, and change my complete story next week completely, and then change it again the following week. Yo, she has like 6 different stories on what happened, and I think that, and I get it, like, she was close to him. She wants answers. But I think you gotta have some kind of respect for your platform and for the people that were involved, his family. And I get it.
What respect? What respect does she have?
Don't talk about him passing away as a conspiracy theory if you don't know. And I think it's a little bit I think it's a little bit nasty personally. Now, this is just me speaking from my own perspective, because I don't know what happened to Charlie, and I don't think that it's right to come on here and tell y'all we all have a definitive answer. I think that's fair to say. But she has been definitive multiple times in multiple different ways. So when we talk about, you know, Candace Owens and people having ulterior motives, she's blown up after this as well. I know we talk about Charlie Kirk and Eric Kirk. We can talk about that in a second. But, you know, she has also kind of benefited from all these conspiracy theories, and she's made money off of this. And then she also wants to claim that it's an Israel thing and that it's an Eric Kirk thing. So this is where my skepticism about this whole conspiracy thing about Charlie Kirk comes in, because I think
why do you have conspiracy? Why do you have skepticism? Because Candace Owens fucked it up. I mean, the skepticism.
I think that majority of the stories are coming from her, bro, and she's pushing it, so then it makes it bigger than it may be. And she's also benefiting from the conspiracy theories and feeding the people who love Charlie Kirk because people want a reason. People want people who love this guy and, you know, really looked up to this guy. They clearly, you know, want a reason. And I shit. When I have people who passed in my life that I was close to, you kind of want to know why. You know, it's just part of the grieving process. And there's so much cloudiness around this that it's unsettling for people. So when you see the opportunity to fill that void with false information, and you're taking it multiple times and in different ways, versus from the front, then it's from the back, then it's from underneath, then it's an exploding device, then he, you know, broke his neck. Like, all these people are just trying to now capitalize off of it and make a buck to me. That's how it looks like, and that makes me feel like it waters down any type of conspiracy theory for me. I'm not saying that there wasn't a conspiracy. I'm saying that it waters down any type of real evidence for me, you know, because we're getting conflicting information from everywhere.
Well, I mean, for one, I think to take what Candace is saying as a grain to take what Candace is saying with the grain of salt, I believe should be something that is done on the people receiving the information. So I'm gonna say you and I. Yeah. And the reason why I would say that is because A, she does not know, and B, she's also a grieving friend that is possibly trying to piece together who or why or what's the purpose that he was taken away from me. Because, again, it doesn't make sense, again, with what the CIA is reporting. Well, how is he a transgender, you know, that's against fascism, or how is somebody see him on the roof and nobody reports it, or how do they not find the casing? Why are you paving over so she's sitting here, she's trying to figure out, well, okay, if you say you arrested the man, what's the motivation? Okay, then
Exactly.
why is his wife moving this particular way? Why is my former boss Ben Shapiro and Erica Kirk working together? Right? And I think that's another a thing that is kind of that might get lost in this. That's not really important, but is important. Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens had a highly publicized falling out because Candace used to work for his network, The Daily Wire, but she had differing opinions over the war of Israel and Hamas, right? Because Candace Owens has been clearly outspoken against the atrocities that's been happening over there. And Shapiro publicly called her out and said that she was disgraceful and suggested that she quit and label and kind of like, because again, Shapiro is a dissent. You feel me? So with that being said, this unfortunately pushes some of those false narratives because as we speak of when Charlie Kirk now passes away and he dies and his wife comes in and says, well, I always know what Charlie wanted, and fires people on the staff who may actually know what Charlie have wanted, like, you know, and you then side with Charlie was on both sides of the fence.
I think people can be capitalizing off of the death and it not be conspiracy still. Let's put I think that Erica Kirk could be profiting, and she's been moving kind of weird. We're gonna get to her in a moment because you said that she's firing people and she's running in weird ways. We've seen her all over the place. You know, obviously lately she's been kind of, you know, staying home. I haven't seen her like, you know, public. I think she's taking some advice probably. But all last year she was out. She was outside. You know, so
she was listening to Glorilla, nigga. She was outside, nigga.
For real. You know, so that's like I do think that you can profit from this stuff because now, you know, you can say, okay, now is the opportunity for me to put myself in public space and be head of TPUSA and still not have Erica Kirk might not have all the answers as well, you know. So I hear you. I hear both sides with that, but when you're the one that's most pushing the conservatism, I mean the conspiracy about Charlie Kirk having an issue with Israel, and that's why, and they were involved in him passing in the assassination attempt, but you have different angles on how he even got shot in the first place, it waters down your conspiracy to me. And that's why I look at Candace sideways, and she's the main proponent for this conspiracy stuff. Like she's like I think it starts with her and then it seeps out to everywhere else, and it's become a big talking point. You know, now it's the device exploded on him. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm just saying that, man, I don't know what to believe because you've given us 5 different stories already. You know, and I think you got to be a little bit unless you know, don't say shit. That's how I look at it. If you really have respect your friend, unless you know, don't say shit.
Do you want to show the video that you showed? That's
I'm worried because it's I don't know if that's real. I don't know if it's AI. We could show it, but we might get flagged for, you know. And it's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is very sensitive here on YouTube, on your platform. They don't want to talk about it, you know. And I think that's weird too.
No, what's weird is that we put that Taylor Swift episode out, nigga, and ain't got a view, nigga. I think Taylor Swift done put a muzzle on her name, nigga. Shit, we might get more views from Charlie Kirk than the Swifties, nigga. Shit. I don't know, man. The reason why I'm asking is because
that's crazy.
You know, from what it is that, again, as to the speculation, is that what is also documented fact of what happened with Charlie Kirk before he passed. You know what I'm saying? And I know we said that we wasn't going to get
before we get to that, because I know you're going with the Israel stuff, right? I want to just talk about the motivations and the narrative surrounding the motivation of Tyler Robinson real quick, and then we can get right into that, because I just want to put a button on the shooting and the Candace Owens stuff, because immediately immediately right after the shooting. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit that happened, bro. They didn't waste no time to tell you exactly what happened, who did it, and why. When it happens that quickly, there is suspicion.
It's orchestrated, my nigga.
It
on
seems
me.
orchestrated. So
Yeah.
now I'm leaning more towards the conspiracy side because the way I remember it, like, yo, y'all already know this is from everybody said left wing radicalism, left wing violence, and that's what they did. But the narrative that dominated conservative media immediately after the investigation and was pushed from the very top was Trump posted on Truth Social the day Charlie Kirk died, calling Robinson a radical leftist. Within hours of the shooting, conservative commentators were calling it a political motivated attack by the left. Some went further, framing this as the product of a trans terror cell. What? I don't know what that means. But they suggested that Robinson was groomed by Antifa, which is not a real thing, or Antifa adjacent networks, and claiming that transgender activists had predicted the assassination on social media before it happened. The evidence of this narrative used was Lance Twiggs, Robinson, roommate and romantic partner, is trans person transitioning from male to female.
Yeah, I don't know. Where
Utah
the fuck
governor,
do we get this information from?
I don't know. Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirmed this on CNN and NBC. A relative of Twiggs told Fox News Digital that Twiggs hates conservatives and Christians and had become progressively radicalized over the last year. Robinson's mother told investigators he had become more pro-gay and trans rights oriented within the last year. And the charging document described Twiggs as Robinson's lover/roommate, who was a biological male transitioning genders. The weakest point of this narrative is that it requires you to believe that Robinson's political identity was entirely a product of his relationship with Twiggs. It also cannot be explained that the evidence that directly contradicts this simple radical left label, So former talk show host Montel Williams went on CNN and said that he believed Robinson was motivated by love, not politics, meaning that he killed Kirk out of protective devotion to his trans partner rather than organized political ideology. That became a liberal counter to the right-wing framing, but is also incomplete. Now, prosecutors have declined to state a specific motive publicly, but their charging documents and preliminary hearing presentations have consistently pointed in one direction. Robinson allegedly said that he had enough of his hatred and that some hate can't be negotiated out. The letter he left under his keyword said, I had the opportunity to take Charlie Kirk out and I'm going to take it. The prosecution's argument and the preliminary hearing centered on Robinson's belief that Kirk was spreading hatred through his controversial views and influence in right-wing politics. The letter Robinson left, which prosecutors sought to introduce as evidence, reportedly depicts Kirk's religious and political views, particularly on gender ideology. The prosecution specifically argued that it was important to establish that those views were Robinson's motives. The framing says Robinson was not a radical leftist in an organized sense, because there really is no radical left organizations, in my opinion. He was a young man who absorbed Kirk's documented anti-trans rhetoric and responded to it with violence. He stated his motive is consistent with that framing. The evidence, in his own words, supports it. He stated his motive is consistent. When did he state that? I wonder. Now, this is where it gets kind of complicated, and this is where it doesn't fit the first two narratives at all, and this is the most interesting for this type of show. So the bullets are a key. Robinson's etched messages on the bullets he used. He described those messages in his own text as mostly a big meme. The preliminary hearing revealed the specific content of revealed that the specific content, at least some of those engravings. Sorry, let me repeat that. The preliminary hearing revealed the specific content of at least some of those engravings. According to the report from the hearing, they included the phrase, "Hey fascist, catch," and a line from Bella Ciao, which is an Italian anti-fascist resistance song that became associated with Antifa movements internationally. Now, here's where you need to understand the internet culture to understand this. What those engravings actually mean. On 4chan and Reddit, specifically in darker and more irony poisoned corners of the platform, Bella Ciao and hate fascists are not straightforwardly left-wing statements. They exist in a space where right-wing, left-wing, ironic, sincere, and performative politics violence are all aestheticized simultaneously as a form of internet culture. It's like people taking, woke and readopting it, essentially, like they did for Black Lives Matter, and then woke, they say woke is now just a left thing. And when Black people created it to, stay informed, of what's going on in the world. The phrase mostly a big meme itself is a tell. A person with a sincere and organized left-wing commitment to killing a political enemy does not describe the most deliberate detail of their planning as a meme. So that's what we're getting at here, is that if it's a meme, it quite possibly could be a right-wing extremist just making a joke at things, right? The Utah governor said that Robinson comes from a conservative family, but had a very different ideology than his family, and specifically confirmed leftist ideology in recent years. But also said Robinson had a deep fascination with gaming and internet, and that there was a deep, dark internet Reddit culture and dark places of the internet where this person was going deeper into, his ideologies. The deep internet Reddit culture, those are not specific left or right movements. So it could be either way. There were reports circulating that after assassination that Robinson had been active in online communities, including with some right-wing and political ambiguous aesthetics, where political violence was discussed and aestheticized as entertainment. The engraved bullets as memes framing is consistent with someone deeply embedded in the internet culture that produces incels, accelerationists, and people who treat mass violence as a form of ironic performance. The culture is not left-wing. It's not right-wing. It is a specific kind of radicalization that operates outside of those categories entirely. The charging document also noted that Robinson confessed online to internet contacts before he was arrested. Not to Twigs, not to his family, to people he knew through internet. Who were those people? What communities did they belong to? That information has not been publicly disclosed yet. So, Robinson eventually stated that he hated Kirk, and that was his motive. So from what we're getting here, out of his own mouth, he's saying that he did it. And he did it because he hated Kirk. So I just want to leave that out there.
Okay. Okay.
Believe what you may, if you believe it, that's up to you. But Candace Owens, I wonder what she has to say about this, but she claimed that there was a trap door when Charlie Kirk was shot. She wondered openly whether there was investigators had considered the possibility of Kirk was shot from below. As we saw, she had a whole bunch of different things, but all that, I think personally, has led to the whole anti-Semitism stuff, and that all being kind of blended in with the whole AIPAC anti-Israel sentiment that's in the zeitgeist right now, and tying that into the Charlie Kirk assassination, I think is convenient. So let me let you go ahead and explain what the connection is with Israel.
I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, we have Charlie Kirk, who, again, everybody to everybody's credit has said Hamas has to be annihilated, Hezbollah has to be like they're not so much saying I want to destroy the innocent people, even though that I am destroying the innocent people, right? But the ones who have spoke out from it or of it, they haven't necessarily received a lot of backing after that, per se. And the reason why that people may be speculating that the conspiracy theory is buying into the anti-Semitism, which I'm not necessarily going to register it as that. I am going to speak about the coincidences of real life things that happen. 4 days, 4 days prior to Charlie Kirk being murdered, um, Charlie Kirk realistically had backing from Robert Schillman. Robert Schillman was a semiconductor technology billionaire, net worth in the hundreds of millions, who been one of TPUSA's most significant financial backers. And he explicitly and publicly committed to Zionist causes. That is Robert Schillman. The Schillman Foundation has given tens of millions of dollars to pro-Israel organizations, media outlets, and political organizations across the country. So, in the summer of 2025, literally, right, the summer of before his passing, Kirk's position on Israel and the Iran war shifted in ways that alarmed Schillman and the donors like him. Kirk had gone from being reliably pro-Israel to publicly questioning the logic of American military involvement in the Middle East and the unlimited support for Israeli policies that have been the cornerstone of TPUSA's ideological, that has been a cornerstone of TPUSA's ideology and the alignment of the company. So,
I watched Israel before.
Exactly. And again, exactly.
As the leader of this movement.
As the leader of this movement and as a person, again, like we have to remember, we're talking about these donors are influential. Like the list of names as donors, we're talking about Bernie Marcus, Home Depot co-founder, gave $7.1 million. We talking about Isaac Perlmutter is an ex-Marvel chair. He's funded. We talking about William Dunn from Dunn Capital. Like these are big wigs, right? Donors Trust, Bradley Impact Fund, Fidelity Charitable. Like these are all donor advised funds that have been within TPUSA. So when we're talking about the implementation of the outreach, the impact of TPUSA has been able to get people to then change policy. So when he is pro-Israel and the policies alike at one point in time, again, we just had the conversation yesterday. When you ride, my nigga, you supposed to ride because you one of the first people that ever supported me in this. Now we're talking about you're an arm for me. You're a media arm. You're a political arm for me right now at the moment.
When you have 2,000, organizations across different universities and different high schools, different chapters, and you're the head of this entire thing, TPUSA, and people are looking at you, and people care about this guy. They're crying when he passed away, and they looked up to the guy. When you're that, I guess you're seen as powerful, and the way that you criticize could change the flow of the entire organization and how people talk about Israel as it goes through the pipeline to TPUSA across all chapters, essentially. That is a potentiality. So, like when you're talking about 40 shot, he was talking about this on the podcast and criticizing the Iran war. I can see that. I can see where you could put the two together.
Well, I mean, but there's more though. To your point of hearing it and so now when we love The Wire, right? And he said follow the money. So again, September 6th, 4 days before Kirk was killed, Schillman stood at a private gala in Los Angeles and publicly denounced Kirk from his dais. So Schillman stood up, denounced Kirk, and then pulled and expressed regretting giving money, and then withdrew $2 million donation, specifically documented as a punishment for Kirk's stance. Right.
4 days later, he was shot.
And then so now we can leave it at that and be like, that's a conspiracy. But then we can now look at the takeover of the company since he has passed. Right. And now this is a legitimate, again, an arm owned by Salem's Media Group and Salem's Podcast Network in partnership with a company called Clock Tower X, run by Brad Parscale, the former Trump campaign digital director. Now, Clock Tower X is a registered agent for the Israeli Foreign Ministry under the Foreign Agents Registration Act.
Nice.
Okay. So a FARA registration is a public government record. You can look it up. The company is tasked with distributing Charlie Kirk's podcast in the weeks after his death and formally registered to work on behalf of the Israeli government's interests in the United States. So
we just talked about how when you get money and can't you criticize somebody who you're getting the money from, who's actually backing you? Like,
come on, nigga.
And obviously Kirk is gone. He's out the way now. Then a little bit over a week, this happens. So I get why people will start to put two and two together and start to be like, question, oh my God, there has to be an Israel connection. Because he was against it, clearly. You took $2 million away from him 4 days before he passed, before he was assassinated. And then just like over a week and a half later,
because you knew his stances changed and how he saw and viewed the way that we were, the way that you guys were doing, the way that you guys were operating. Yeah. And there has been a Google search tracking claim. Also, this comes from LouRockwell.com, a libertarian publication that is not always a reliable source, and we want to be transparent about that. Mm-hmm. But the claim is that Google searches for 4 locations and people connected to Kirk's assassination were tracked by IP addresses to people like Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith's appearances at the TPUSA conference in July of 2025. So, again, it's a caveat that's thrown out there again. That's just for the sake of, right?
Yeah. I think this might be a hit piece. Like they might have some issue with Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith, and they're throwing some carrot out there for people to bite on. I don't know, man. These libertarians, they be tricky. You said Peter Thiel, bro. You see what he's doing.
Yo, Peter Thiel, you know that nigga up some shaky shit, bro.
Exactly. But like you making good points, but like whoever would benefit from Kirk's death would benefit from 3 specific things, right? Removing a major conservative voice who had turned against Israel. That's 1. Gaining control of his media empire and organizational infrastructure. That's 2. And creating a martyr moment that could be used to silence criticism of Israel within the conservative movement. That's 3. This is all if you're abiding by these motives, because obviously if you parallel what happened right after to what's going on, those motives kind of can be seen as achieved. Now, within a week of his death, all those 3 things began happen within a week. So that is a fact pattern. It's a documented fact pattern, and I am not going to say what that means. Y'all answer the question. What do y'all believe? Is this a real motivating drive, or was it just by happenstance that, hey, he's out the way now. Maybe there were defectors in TPUSA beforehand that weren't okay with what he was doing, and we're like, oh, now he's out the way, we can move him the way we really want to go in, which is more pro-Israel. That's a possibility too.
Hey, all we're saying is there's plausibility to the thought process of people being involved that may not need to be considered to be involved, but there's not too much distance away from the timeline. Like, even when we're saying, like, when we were just, chastising Candace Owens for her profiting off of the death of Charlie Kirk. Again, Erica Kirk, I don't want to speculate, but I know she ain't going to these appearances without a fee. I know she like appearance fees, book deal. Like, we don't know. Like, Erica has been the face of a widow. Since, like, nigga, they're trying to make her like who was JFK wife? Jackie. They trying to make her like the face of assassination widows, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But she out here moving real foul and funky. I ain't gonna hold you, nigga. If you my man's cheating and you see my bitch acting crazy like that, if that hoe come out to some pyro, you better motherfucker explosive lapel mic her ass, nigga. The fuck?
I can't say I got you, but I'll keep that in mind.
Nigga, you better use an old Mauser, one shot, one kill. If that hoe come out there looking like goddamn Batista.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah. Yo, that nigga Eric Kirk fucking Cody Rhodes pyro.
Oh, man.
Hold on, that's why she fired 60 niggas at TPUSA. Them niggas gonna look at the books and say, how much for explosives? That bitch blew a bag on motherfucking pyro.
She did.
Oh man. Oh man, Erica, you moved real foul, girl.
So yeah.
You move real foul, girl.
Speaking of Erica, man, so she took over the organization about
8 days after.
Yeah.
8 days.
Talk about it.
8 days, nigga. The board says it was Charlie's wish. How? How? When did nigga make a will?
Maybe he did. Maybe he had one.
What I'm trying to say is, nigga, okay, again, red flag for people who may not know Chris, but wanted, like, if I'm Charlie Kirk, something happened to me, I ain't never told my hoe to come on my show. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. I ain't never once told Ivana, if something happened to me, pick up the mic and be Drake Roller Ayatollah. Nigga, ain't no way in hell I'd tell her to do that.
This ain't TPUSA.
You think I'm just a little $400 million business?
I don't know.
Okay. Now you let me know what. Now let's keep it real. It's Friday. Nigga, what? Cheaty, be real. You can't even imagine the pussy that will make you fucking like just that will your baby from 18 years old. You grew this. It's a conservative think tank. You might can be nigga. You might can run for president. Like Charlie Kirk, niggas would have followed that nigga to a presidential run. Are you telling me you think he left it to her?
I'm not saying I know anything about what's going on here. I think that Erica Kirk, I don't know her credentials. I don't know how much she was involved in TPUSA before he passed.
I'm gonna
I
let you
would
know
say
her
this.
credentials. Miss Arizona, USA. That's her fucking credentials, nigga. She was
Okay.
Miss Arizona, USA. Nigga. When you go to Erica Kirk's Wikipedia, it's a tab that say career, motherfucker. And you know what that shit say? Erica competed in Miss Arizona USA in 2012 pageant, which she won on her 23rd birthday, and then represented Arizona in Miss USA 2012, but did not place. She holds a degree in American Legal Studies from Liberty University, where she is studying for a doctorate in biblical studies as of 2025. In 2019, Erica launched a podcast, Midweek Rise Up. That year, she also appeared on reality television series Summer House. That's under her career tab. Bitch, I can create a fucking wiki for me that's more interesting than what the fuck this hoe doing.
Okay. Okay.
Her
Fair.
career
Fair.
is like, nigga, Christopher McLean developed reasonable wrestling podcast for 7 years.
Oh man. So I don't know. I don't know if he would deliver to her because I'm not Charlie Kirk. I don't know what he's gonna do. But I hear you.
Nigga,
I hear you, brother.
nigga.
I hear you. I hear you. I do not know how involved she was with TPUSA. I do not know. Maybe he's like, listen, she'll know what to do with my legacy, and she. I don't know what he was thinking, but that's what they said.
Bro. Oh my gosh. Yo. Man.
So yeah, so Wednesday she took charge within 8 days of the passing, which is crazy. They said it was his wishes.
That pussy got power, my nigga.
She immediately began firing staffers. Like he said, more than 60 people in insiders called more than 60 people in what insiders called the TPUSA purge. Excuse me. She then changed the organization's stated positions, including on Israel, reversing direction on what Charlie had been, doing and where he'd been moving. She reversed his position on Israel. So the show now is distributed by a registered Israeli foreign agent. The donor who withdrew the $2 million 4 days prior to Charlie's death, because of his anti-Israel stance, was then now no longer withholding the money. He gave it back. And the question is now worth asking, essentially, and framing, very carefully, because I know that she's a widow, is whether Erica Kirk's rapid and dramatic changes to PUSA after her husband's death, represent her genuine beliefs about how to honor his legacy, or whether they represent something else, and I'm not going to say what else, but y'all can think about it. The organizations and the people who had the most motive to want Kirk's direction reversed got exactly what they wanted within 2 weeks of his death, and that's kind of drastic. I will say that. Within 2 weeks, TPUSA has now completely pivoted a 180 to what Charlie Kirk was saying and how he lost $2 million, 4 days prior to his assassination, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can't get over her career tab, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just flabbergasted that I'm just the reason why is because there's no written record, there's no voice note, there's no goddamn Nothing. It's just she got some members of the board to say it was Charlie's wishes, and then probably, the conspiracy is, I promise you more power or something on the back end. I fired the 60 niggas that wasn't on my fucking side. Get your ass out of here. And then again, everything that falls under that,
So
it it's
historically,
yeah.
historically, when a leader dies suddenly, and the successor immediately fires a significant portion of the organization, consolidates the power, and changes the organization's direction on its most contested issues within days of the death, what does that tell you about the pattern? There's a version of this that is completely innocent, and I'm not going to say that this is malicious, but there's also a version of this that's not. You know, whenever we've seen this in old stories in history, typically it's when like people like Julius Caesar got, you know, stabbed in the back, or people got poisoned who were kings and queens. You know, like that's when they just start letting go of everybody and pivoting course on everything they did. You know, so I'm not gonna say this was what's going on here. I'm just saying that it's worth a question, and you guys make that inference. I've already told you that I have very much suspicion about this in a way that I believe that what they say happened is more likely to have happened. But I can't act like all this evidence here should bring no pause to pause because it is kind of suspicious.
Uh, Suspicious, yes. And also, I would just end with this. Tyler Robinson could have been a fall guy as well, bro. Like,
That's
we've
true.
already talked about the CIA
Yep.
experimenting on the mentally disabled people. So,
And
Tyler,
it's been a while since they got to this hearing, right? It's been like 2 years. They could have gotten
well,
some by now.
it's been a year. It's been a year. But I mean, even because
A
he,
year,
he
that's
he
it?
died. He died. Charlie Kirk died in
Oh
September, so
yeah.
barely a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
barely a
you're
year.
right.
But I mean, realistically, if the CIA already identified who he was, knew what he was, knew it was a note there, already got his mom to say, like we've read stories documented that they pay families off and signed a gag order to not say nothing. Like that's documented that what the CIA
Yeah.
has done. So again, to have, again, for what people don't understand, of the Powell Memo and the significance behind that, um, the conservative, the rapid conservative grasping onto ideologies comes from that. Like it is birthed from a person believing um, that we need to embody uh, in a think tank, a conservative think tank. Like that's just as blanket as it can be. Like he wanted to create a massive counter mobilization of corporate and conservative interests by creating a massive think tank that was founded and funded by organizations and institutions and foundations that thought alike. And realistically, it was a private strategy that was
Sorry.
as soon as you open up that app, boy, a bitch will get to singing to you. Yeah, it was a private strategy that was, again, that was supposed to start from courts and advocacies, which we've already talked about, establishing and dedicating conservative legal foundations to challenge laws and champion corporate interests in court. That's what Turning USA happened to do while being a media monitoring. It tracked, it critiqued, it countered television, print, entertainment, content that criticized corporate, that all for those who criticize corporate practices. That's what Turning Point USA did, and it was led by going to fucking college campuses, actively creating networks of scholars on call to defend capitalism, monitor textbooks, and counter left-wing ideologies on said college campuses. So Turning Point USA is the fucking what analogy can we use superhero? Is this Ultron? Is this like the machine finding a body and Turning Point USA and fucking telling the doctor to hit the switch, bitch, and creating Ultron?
Winter Soldier.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
sleeper agents. Honestly.
Well, I mean, Winter Soldier was flipped though. Ultron had to be killed. I think Turning Point USA got it. Hey, it's out the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Oh, bro. But let's be real. Turning Point USA after this is falling apart. They are
Exactly.
they did get switched.
It's
in a
being
different direction.
dismantled.
It's
It's being dismantled. Yeah.
It's like, so. And the reason why I brought up the Butler Trump situation, because let's look at it from let's just in a theorized way, conspiracy corner. Let's explore this. Let's say they both were staged. Trump's campaign gained an iconic image that they made tons of money off of. His polling surged in route to winning the election. His fundraising exploded. He won the presidency. The political capital gained by the Butler moment was enormous, essentially, and immediate. Once that shit happened, I knew he was going to win the election. I knew it. It was like, what they did not get control over was the outcome. Corey Comfortor died. That was either an unplanned catastrophe in a staged event or it was not staged. There was no clean version of the staging theory that accounts for Comfortor's, I guess his name, death without making it staged morally incomprehensible. So essentially, if he died, that kind of makes it seem like it wasn't staged. But for all we know how this government gets down. Maybe that was just cost of doing business, Now, for Kirk, let's say this is staged. TPUSA would have gotten a martyrdom moment heading into the 2026 midterms, which is this year. Kirk would have survived. He would have generated sympathy and attention, activated his entire organizational structure, and headed into the election cycle as a man who had been targeted for his beliefs and survived. The political gift of that would have been for Kirk, for TPUSA, for the conservative youth organizing, and it would have been enormous. What actually happened was Kirk actually died. The staging theory says that Robinson was either not part of the plan or deviated from it. The organization that was supposed to benefit from the near miss instead lost its founder completely and has been in visible decline since. So if you look at it from that point of view, you see the Trump assassination attempt paid off. This obviously did not pay off, and it's a year after. So so if you're looking at it from conspiracy land, they saw that and how well it worked for Trump, and maybe they wanted to replicate it. If this was if he was in on it, if Kirk was somehow in on it and okay with that, I don't think Kirk wants to get shot. I'm sorry, I don't believe that was staged. I don't believe that he was trying in on it. I don't think he wants to get something exploded on him. I don't think that's what he's going for.
No, it's niggas that we seen train today, bro. Niggas don't want to get shot, but you gotta get shot for the mission. And when they robbed him and they dug up that nigga floor And he said, "You got to take one." And he said, "Oh, it pierced me through the vest." That was an accident. But the plan was, you got to get shot. Somebody got to get shot. You know what I'm saying? So like, it is like, you know, if niggas is like really putting a real emphasis of behind, could it be? Could it not be? You know, Charlie Kirk again could have he's worked directly with Trump, right? Like there is no Turning Point USA or Turning Point Action, which is the sister group, which is it is exactly an advocacy group that works directly with voters to provide necessary resources to elect conservative leaders. What the we been talking about, nigga?
Yeah.
So
do you think that mission is worth taking a bullet for him?
If your Charlie Kirk was stamped as next up, like,
you know what? If that could take him to where it took Trump, maybe.
Nigga, the president, bro, he's bypassing JD Vance. He's in the dust. Marco Rubio in the dust. Nigga, Ron DeSantis, don't even put your name on the ballot. If Charlie Kirk in 2032, the nigga, nigga, yeah.
No, I hear where you're coming from. And that's if Israel wasn't involved. If that was TPUSA's plan, you know.
If that was TPUSA,
now,
exactly. Well, I mean, I think Israel's.
No. Listen, if Israel was involved, there's like a whole nother, like we talked about, conspiracy. What would they get from that? They would get control of Kirk's show through registered foreign agent, which they got. They could have gotten an organizational leadership that reversed Kirk's anti-Israel direction. They could have gotten could have removed a major conservative voice who had been moving toward opposing the Iran war. They would have got to do all of it while the story was framed as a lone gunman acting out of political hatred.
Well, if Kirk stays on board, he gets it back. If Kirk stays on board, he gets the backing of them moving. If Kirk stays on board with everything, he has everything, essentially. Because you see Trump is on board with everything and is immune to, like, he is impenetrable right now. He is, like, legally right now, Trump walks around like he's Teflon Don because he feels like he has the backing of who he has the backing of. So, like, yeah, if you fall in line, I think, you know, to what you were saying, that was just me presenting the opposite of, like, yeah, Charlie went against the grain. But, you know, as far as what if he would have, if he would have maintained it, you know,
it would be par for the course because they were already working with Israel up to that point.
Exactly.
As if Israel was involved in that.
As if it was exactly.
So you look at this, out of those three scenarios, Trump's being staged, Kirk staging it, and then Israel being involved in assassinating him. The Trump one seems like the plan worked, if that was the case. The Kirk staging it, it means that went wrong. And then Israel possibly, you know, being involved and assassinating Kirk, seems like that went exactly as planned as well. If you're going with these theories, two of them seem like they worked out. If, you know, they are plausible. And yeah, it looks crazy.
There is not the name sacrificial lamb for not circumstances like this. If we are to think of the conspiracy of sacrificing one of your own. Now, again, maybe it went wrong, but again, the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk could propel. We don't know. Again, the midterms is our litmus test. These college campuses, these 2,000 college campuses, high school people who might have the ability to vote, these are our swing voters right now. And if they are against what is currently bipartisan right now, I think every American is like, hey, man, leave, nigga. We don't even reside in the Middle East. Can we figure out shit over here? If we have the think tank swayed already, then it's a major loss for all three of those things, right? And like for all three, like it
All
would
in
like it
all,
would it would be
losing Charlie Kirk
losing
is a big
is a
big loss
big
for the
it's a big
conservative. As a
loss.
matter of fact, it fractured it.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So I
Exactly.
don't think they got what they expected. Whoever, if it was a conspiracy to begin with, I don't think they got what they expected. You know,
Yeah.
Other than I think even if you want to get control of TPUSA, guess what? You got control of nothing now because it's on decline. It's like it's like buying a stock on a decline. So
but if you feel like you can steady a ship though, right?
but
If you feel like if
they
you buy
didn't
like
they didn't plan for this APAC movement, bro. They did not plan. They did not anticipate this. The young
you're right.
people don't want to be giving money to Israel.
You're right. You're right.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. The letting your sheep know that they're being led to slaughter eventually impacts your wool output when you're trying to sell it.
There's blood all over it.
Nigga, you gotta catch me too, nigga. Fuck you mean?
Oh, yeah,
I know too much. I know too much now. You think I'm just about to come to the herder for funsies?
Yeah.
Like not like now you have to go out your way to discredit the conspiracy that has me to even think that way, because again, we're seeing a swaying in incumbents right now of those who are impacted or influenced or contributed to by APAC money. We're just we not even questioning it no more. Like if it's and again, we brought up the, hey fellas, there's other packs. We don't give a fuck. We talk like Jamel Hill selected. We selecting this. We are selecting this right now. This is the only box to check, nigga. The directions say
we'll handle them later.
The directions say please select one, and that is the one we are checking right now.
Yeah. So it's decline. Listen, honestly, I didn't like the guy, and I'm gonna tell you why in a little bit after. But before we close this, hey, before we close, can you check the YouTube to see if there's any comments just real quick? But
no.
But
Rich had a year once. Let me go check our Twitch too. I haven't trusted
Twitch. I haven't seen any comments yet.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. Listen, guys, we're not telling you what happened. We're telling you what the record shows, and we're just asking you to ask questions. So and the official narrative, just ask questions that the official narrative does not answer, essentially. So a man spotted crooks on the roof at Butler, and he was shot. The shot was still fired. A figure was reported visible on the UVU roof before Robinson allegedly fired. Both are outdoor events and visible rooftop vulnerabilities, which should be taken into account at any event. Let's be real, by security precautions, and neither one were addressed in the time that they were there. So a major Zionist donor withdrew $2 million from TPUSA 4 days before Kirk was killed, and then eventually, right after he was, murdered, his whole organization became pro-Israel, which within a week after, or a week and a half after. 10 days after Kirk died on his show, 10 days after Kirk died, the show bearing his name was distributed and registered by the Israeli government agent. The ground where he fell was replaced with pavement 2 days later, while the university blocked public records request. And the woman who took over his organization immediately fired 60 people, being Eric Kirk, and reversed his direction on issues that had just cost him a major donor, you know? So we have presented the documented facts. We presented the theories built on facts. We've told you what the official explanations are. And the question is yours to ask. Everything is a conspiracy, man. So this is the conspiracy court. You know, you guys answer those questions. And you let us know what you feel in the comments if you've been here with us. Thank you. And definitely like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Chris, you find anything else you want to talk about before we get up out of here?
No, man. I think I ran out of inappropriate jokes to end the show with, so I figured we just end up on a high note.
Well,
As high as we can go, talking about somebody dying.
one second. Just to
What
let y'all remind you of, a little bit more about this guy. Let me see if I find it real quick. So,
They already put dirt on the man. I guess I could add some more. He was a nasty son of a bitch. He was a rotten, stinking scoundrel, son of a bitch.
listen, man. I'm not gonna do it. I'll let it slide. Listen, I'll spare you. I'll spare the guy. There's a lot of shit here, but I'm gonna spare him because
Yeah, sure,
listen,
man. He spread conspiracy theories himself about
he did.
COVID-19. Like
He did.
he did conspiracy theories on the swine flu. President Obama infected over 1,000 deaths, and he described public health measure of social distancing. Like he said, social like China were burning patients. Like, what are we talking about? The science around masks is very questionable. He was slow. He was slow. He was slow. Or maybe he was fast. Maybe he knew what he was doing. Maybe again he knew what he was doing. You know what I'm
Listen, man. I'm gonna
saying?
be a bigger person, man. Was I a fan of the guy? Absolutely not. When I see what his rhetoric and what his legacy
What
lies
you gonna be a
behind.
bigger person for? He can't reply back to you.
Listen,
Shit.
listen, man. At the end of the day, I'm not afraid of him replying back to me, even if he was gonna reply back to me. But I'm going to say, listen, may he rest in peace. Nobody should die because of their freedom of speech. Um, and I don't think he deserves like any type of like martyr. I don't think he deserves to be a martyr of any type because he did spew hatred. I just wanted to just leave that out there. He did spew. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what he said, but he spewed hatred, and he got. I'll just say this: he got the black community very fucked up and wrong. A lot of his things that he said about the black community was stereotypical nonsense to demonize us, and I believe that that was intentional for TPUSA and making us the. It's not like when people talk about gun violence and crime. Typically, you should care about all crime, right? But no, he used us as a scapegoat for all the crime in the United States and made us seem like we are the utmost criminals in this country, and that then has now made people, young white men, radicalize them to hate black people and be more anti-black in their rhetoric, which I don't think helps, you know. So whether you want to
Yeah,
use the per
that's why I
capita
said.
thing or not, we're not moving beyond that if we're just going to ignore majority of the crime in this country, and I think that we have to understand the causes for crime in this country. If you really want to tackle it, and if you care about it, you got to figure out the root causes of these things. And I do think that how he portrayed black people, I fundamentally feel like he wasn't honest about it, and I fundamentally feel like he was doing that to cause division. I'll leave it there. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
Nigga, I'm not resting peace in that nigga, cuz. What you on?
Listen, listen, I don't think anybody should die because of their freedom of speech.
I didn't see.
Even
Nobody said that. Nobody said that he died because of his freedom of speech. The whole thing is the conspiracy that he died for a cause, nigga.
You're right.
He didn't die.
That's one way to look at it.
You know,
that's one way to look at it. Me, the guy is dead. I don't want to sit here and harp on, hatred for somebody who, clearly is not here. And honestly, I think his rhetoric could have played into his final moments. So that's my.
he was talking about gun violence and mass shootings, my nigga, and he got shot in a mass out like again, and it wasn't a black person who shot him, the white person. Like the irony of it, like the irony of it all, bro. The irony of it all of you're pro NRA, okay? So somebody had access to a gun. You say, "Oh, black people do all the shooting." Black people don't even shoot your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like
Trump either or to Trump.
So all the stuff that they say as animalistic as black people are, we show a lot of restraint to y'all hoe ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? As Cheaty's doing right now, y'all niggas better.
I was gonna go crazy at the end of this.
It's no need to go crazy, but like
not crazy, but I was going to list off and rattle who everything that he's done and everything. But the guy's gone, and I don't want to be that guy on the spot. I want to be a guy who moves forward. And I
hear you, but they don't listen. George Floyd gone and gone. They don't give a fuck about his daughter when they bring the motherfucker up on the road. So they don't give a. I ain't seen another.
Tony.
I'm
better than Charlie. I think better than they do. I don't demonize people just because of their skin color. I don't do that.
Well, I'm not demonizing them because of their skin color. We're demonizing for the.
I'm not saying demons. You.
No. I'm saying
that they did. I'm saying I'm better than them. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm saying I'm better than them.
Yeah. No. I get that. I don't think, like you said, yes, they're demon. That's what I'm saying. Like the differences of what we're doing. Like we're not even demonizing because he white trash. We demonize him because he's trash. Like there's no color between the trash, nigga. Like it's a trash ass person.
You're right. You're right. But a part of it, like I do like say, how much was he lied to growing up? I think white people need to have more black friends. I get it. Fine, if it's hard, might be.
No, leave us alone. Right, you want to say rest in peace, Nolan Wells. That deserves a rest in peace.
Nolan Wells. But I just think that when you're 30, when you're 18, and you get radicalized, right, and then you get put into position to lead this movement, and you genuinely believe these things about black people, you've never really interacted with black people, and your best friend is Candace Owens who will say whatever she wants for a check, like. I genuinely believe that there's an issue, bro. There's an issue.
I mean, he grew up in the suburb. He grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, so like.
So did Nick Fuentes. He does the same shit. There's a problem with that. They act like Chicago is like this danger.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying what I'm saying is there's that. Buffalo's not the blackest city either, and I'm only using the comparison is that. When you can pinpoint where majority of the senseless violence is happening into one specific thing, then it allows you to have the broader fucking argument. And I'm not saying that is right, but the playbook is what I'm saying is when you're saying they need to have more black friends, the father and the mother
I think that. You're right, 100%. But when I say that, I'm not saying that just get a black friend. I mean, people need to understand black people fundamentally in this country so they can get out of their own mindset. Like when we talked yesterday about, the ICE murders, and we put the video out, and people comment, and they're like, "Well, what about Obama?" Like, we're losing the plot. The plot is people are dying. It should not happen, period. When you gotta demonize a specific group of people to push all crime as the mascot of crime, you don't care about crime. You care about blanket statement putting crime and making people a mascot so that you're not looked at, so that there is no unification, there is no unity, there is no solutions being presented, there is no, hey man, maybe what's the reason why crime is happening in impoverished places? Let's see if we can solve that issue so everybody can have no crime. No, that's not what there is. What they tried to do was say black people are the mascot for crime in America and they're the issue, and make them the scapegoat for all crime. And then this guy ended up getting assassinated for his rhetoric by a white guy. I'm sorry, but like, I really listen. I think me and you see it the same way. So I'm not even going at you. I'm just saying that I'm sorry, but like, reason why I say that we need to get past that, because I think that we're stuck in these indoctrinated mindsets of white versus black, and fuck you, fuck me, leave us alone, and I get to now we're gonna be in this fucking circle forever. Well, eventually, you gotta get to the point where we can find a solution. Hey, how do we prevent all crime? How do we help communities out that are crime ridden? How do we give them more resources so they don't so people don't fall into a life of crime? And we never get there because we want to blame it on a certain type of color or race, and that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Well, I mean that's not our fault, because you said we're going. No, I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying our fault. It's not the people who are looked at's fault. Is what I'm saying. Like, we can't fix that. We've been saying, hey, we're human. Hey, don't enslave us. Hey, don't like nigga. We have not revolted against these people who have done these things to us.
Wait, what's your point?
But my point is that we can't fix the problem. We can't fix the
what do you mean? You mean me and you?
Black people. When you said white people, when your initial thing was like, I think white people need to be around black people to understand the plight of black people. They know. They know because they created it. Like that's the frustrating part of there's no misunderstanding of why we are where we are and how we act and how there's no misunderstanding with that. As we're talking right now, we were saying that our last conspiracy corner was on MK Ultra, and the CIA specifically said, "Hey, we hate black people." We're like, for what? For like literally for what, bro? Like, so the country itself and the country's agencies was built off of.
Maybe there's no hope. Honestly, I think at this point, when you talk about Argentina having a big nigga burger yesterday, I'm like, here we are as black people living in this country, minding our business, and for some reason, everybody wants to talk about us. Everybody has to make us. They love us, but they hate us at the same time. What the fuck is that about, bro? What the fuck is that about?
That's the inferiority God complex, because that's why they push us being less than. Right? Again, Charlie Kirk's biggest thing was to make us angry, right?
And that's why I'm not trying to go through all these things that I have here. Because I'm not trying to sit here and give it any more energy. But I'm always going to preach for a progressive vision. I get it. Like, there's a lot of white people that definitely did create these situations and are still pushing the same thing because they don't want any type of equality or even helping the poor or helping the crime or helping the hood or helping any type of poverty in this country regardless of race. I hear you, bro. Because
honestly, because at that point now it's not even a black or white thing. Now it's a legitimate power thing. Because I just read a stat that the 1% of the wealthiest people in the world now have more money than the entire middle class of America. So like So there's no real, again, like they have moved beyond the black and white
if you're
thing.
hearing us and you're
And
with
it's
us, guys,
power.
you're right, power. If you're hearing us and you're with us, guys, and if you are somehow on this, and you are a Charlie Kirk supporter, and you love this guy, and you are a right-wing conservative person who's just here to hear two black men talk about their vision of America and what they think about this guy, understand that I am trying, literally as a black man, to break through the programming on both sides of black, white, conservative, left, right, liberal, centrist, whatever you want, all that stuff, and go to a society where we are solving problems for everybody. And if your dumbass cannot get over skin tone and color, or cannot get over the need to have more power over somebody, then you are the problem. Charlie Kirk was divisive. Charlie Kirk did not seek solutions to help out Americans at large. It was for specific people that he thought worthy of helping out, particularly black men. Not black men, white men, and anybody who supported the empowerment of white men. And as people who are not white men, who see everybody in America as Americans, I'm saying, saying that he did not pose any solutions other than demonizing black people and saying that they're the problem. He did not genuinely care about crime. He did not genuinely care about uplifting Americans. He did not genuinely care about combating power and tyranny and fascism in this country. He demonized black people for a living and got paid for it. And not just black people, anybody on the left. Gay, trans, anybody who was for, abortion rights, women, period. Like, he demonized women. This is what he did. And you cannot build a cohesive society if you're not solving solutions for all those people. I think we can agree on that. With that being said, I yield.
Do not yield, brother, because they hear you and they still want to eliminate all of those people.
Says you.
Because they believe it's only one thing that's right, and that's white.
This has been Conspiracy Quarter, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Kirk, y'all tell the tale. Y'all tell the tale. Y'all tell us what y'all think in the comments, and we'll be back next week with more. What everything is. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all that good shit, because we definitely need the help. We are 10 subscribers away from 100 subscribers on YouTube. Great. We did some great work in the first 3 months. Help us get there across the finish line. We really appreciate y'all. But before we get up out of here, keep love in your hearts and spirits, because the world needs it. You know, everything is. We are the zeitgeist. We are the culture. We'll see y'all next week. Deuces.